So welcome to this series. Really what we're focused on in this series is talking about small business, so speaking to business leaders, including entrepreneurs, and also sort of getting some advice for people who are new in their career, just starting out in their career. What kind of advice, tips, tricks do those business leaders or entrepreneurs have? And so I'm very, very excited today to be joined by Craig Pitchers from the Courier Guy, who's actually one of our core partners for the store in South Africa. And so Craig, welcome. It's fantastic to have you here this morning, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Good morning, Robert. Yeah, thanks for having me here today.
Cool. I think, probably just to start off with the Courier Guy, I know most South Africans have seen the vans driving around and so very familiar with the brand. But tell us a little bit more about the Courier Guy.
So, Robert, the Courier Guy is 25 years old today, or this year.
Wow. Okay.
And a truly South African brand, so proudly South African. Founded in 2000 and really started off as a small business and has continued to gain momentum and grow over the years. And over those years, it's really leveraged the talent in South Africa to build the business under the founder. Today, we find ourselves a big business, probably one of the leading last mile providers in South Africa, and serving a multitude of SMEs as well as large businesses in their last mile deliveries.
Mm-hmm. And why are your customers choosing you over the others?
Well, I'd like to think that our service delivery is top notch, and they see that as a benefit to their business. Being able to deliver on their promise, and we deliver on our promise, we've got a happy customer at the end of the line.
So what occupies you day to day? I think a lot of people are always fascinated, CEO of a group like the Courier Guy. What does your typical day look like, and what's occupying your time?
Yeah, Robert, we're a unique business in that I will wear techies and shorts to work because we all get into the guts of the business, so to speak. And we deliver for our customer and we support our people. And that's what it's about. So we don't have large structures. We've got flat structures in the business. So my typical day is dealing with the odd customer, certainly building relationship with customers and suppliers. But more importantly is working with the team to make sure that we deliver on our objectives and on our customers' expectations.
Fantastic. And you mentioned small businesses, the SMEs that you're working with. I don't know, I'm of strong belief that building small business is just such a critical pillar to South Africa's growth. Maybe if you could tell us a little bit more about, maybe some of your observations about what you guys are doing to work with those small businesses and what you think we should be doing to encourage and grow small business in South Africa.
Yes. Look, I think since COVID, we saw quite an uptick in the number of small businesses. Guys starting businesses from their homes, and a lot of them have actually morphed into very successful businesses. So we've seen a lot of new small businesses come onto the playing field over the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years. Yeah. And we've seen across a whole lot of demographics as well as product types. So whether it's shoes or bikinis or wigs or eyelashes, these small businesses started up. And I think it's incredible that these small businesses have taken that initiative. And, maybe COVID forced them into that position. But COVID's in the past now. And we're seeing this trend continuing where I think guys are getting maybe a little bit fed up with corporate and whatever. And they're starting small businesses. And I think one of the keys to make them work is ultimately getting their product delivered successfully. Yeah. And yes, there's some tech in between to, make their website work and the integrations and that kind of thing, which we can assist with. But at the end of the day, they sell a product, their customer wants to receive it.
I must say it's one of the most satisfying parts of my job is just working with some of these entrepreneurs and hearing the stories and seeing the passion that they have. And I always say there's no reason why we shouldn't have the next big brand of the world come out of South Africa. And hopefully we can be part of that journey and sort of help facilitate some of that.
No, indeed. And if we look at some of your marketplace sellers that work through us, and it's incredible how they're growing. And it's really exciting.
It is exciting. So one of the things that I did actually, I think it was about a month ago, is did a ride along with some of your guys and, delivering parcels. It's super important to me to make sure that, connected to customer. It's fascinating to see their reaction when you actually deliver the box to them. But one of the things that struck me was just the culture. There seems to be a very strong culture at the Courier Guy. And so maybe if you could tell us a bit more about that. It seems to be everybody is very customer focused, very focused on, the relationship that we have as a business and how we deliver on that. But what is that culture, and what are you doing to really build on that culture within the org?
So we like to think of ourselves, or we call ourselves the people's courier.
Yeah.
So we deliver for the people. And the human aspect in our business is incredibly important. And, our drivers work in quite small areas. So perhaps the area you went with our driver, it's a small area. He gets to know the area well. But also more importantly, there's a trust that develops between our driver and the person or the consumer receiving the parcel.
Yeah.
So, we see that human aspect comes in very, very strong in our culture. And of course, it's customer satisfaction is kind of the overrider.
Yeah.
But we see the customer as a human first and then as a customer. And I think that just adds a different quality to the experience.
But how do you engender that in the culture? I mean, are there specific things that you do to make sure that the team across the board, because it seems that from the drivers across, even the guys in the, sort centers and what have you, it seems to be very pervasive.
Yeah, look, we drive a high level of accountability across the business, but there's a high level of respect as well in the business. So, we respect the team, and we let you fail occasionally, but the expectation is that we continue to deliver exceptional service.
So if maybe just your advice or guidance to young people beginning of their career journey, how do I become CEO of a Courier Guy? What do you look for, or what sort of advice would you give to that new talent that is emerging and coming through?
I think one of the wisest things someone ever said to me is, we are all people.
Yeah.
It was said a bit differently, but I won't say that now. But we are all people. Doesn't matter if you're the CEO of a business or you're the guy loading the truck or the guy delivering the parcel. We're all people. And for me, that it puts everyone on the same playing field. And so the conversations, the dialogues, the interactions become a lot easier. So that was quite an important step for me in terms of engaging with people. And then I think very importantly is surround yourself with good people. Yeah. And South Africa has got immensely talented people. And I think, we often underestimate that, and people go, but let's see what America's doing or what Europe's doing or whatever. But there's immensely talented people in South Africa. So surround yourself by good people. And then I think most importantly is trust your instincts. Yeah. If it feels good and it feels right, it's got to be right.
But it's kind of tough, I know, building a career, being in that early stage, it's, and I've seen with a number of individuals, we've got great talent, but looking for that guidance, looking for that mentorship. Is there a specific mentor or mentorship or guidance that you got that you think really helped you? Or, maybe some advice as to how do you find that kind of mentorship or guidance?
So I think there's the formal way of getting that mentorship or guidance, but then there's also the informal way where you attach yourself to somebody in the business that's good, and kind of shadow them. Yeah. And I've been particularly fortunate to have quite a diverse range of managers, leaders in my career, which have given me different views. So my construct may have been X, but they've made me shift from that construct, which I think is really helpful. So I think absolutely surround yourself by good people and align yourself to leadership that you can learn from, either formally or informally.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So let's move to a little bit of discussion about Amazon coming into the country, and I must say we've received such positive feedback from our customers in terms of the speed of delivery and especially the accuracy of the delivery, getting it to them when we say we're going to get it to them. But what are you guys doing from an innovation point of view to help improve, that last mile experience? And, maybe if you could comment on the relationship a little bit.
Let's start with the relationship, and I think it's been an incredible relationship working with your team as we started the onboarding process and that. And I think we've learned certainly some good insights from Amazon in terms of our own processes, our own systems. But I think the thing that stood out for me was how amenable and how human the team was. And we worked with them for close on 2 years in terms of that process, and it was really, really good. And I think certainly from a innovation perspective, there's lots we can do. And certainly in terms of enhancing the communication, and using some tech in terms of giving a bit more visibility to the receiver, the Amazon customer, of that parcel. We're doing some work around that. Although the out-of-home network is not necessarily new, but we will certainly expand that and add some innovations to the out-of-home network. I think particularly the South African market, there's a demand for out-of-home, and particularly in our rural and regional areas, where the need for perhaps community pickup points are also becoming more important. So I think they're not rocket science kind of innovations, but they're innovations that will serve the customer better and give us, as I mentioned earlier, as the people's courier, the ability to reach the people of South Africa.
I must say it's very satisfying. You know, when you look at a map of South Africa, we see this heat map of where parcels are going and what's happening. And, you know, it's not just concentrated in those major centers, but across all of South Africa. And, you know, no mean feat. It's super tough to do that. But it's very encouraging that we can serve the entire South Africa, not just those central hubs.
Indeed, yeah.
Where do you see it going? I mean, just from you know, this within the whole courier space, you know, do you think it'll be very different in terms of, you mentioned some of the innovation, but do you see it being much different, you know, in the next sort of 3 to 5 years?
I think we don't know what it will look like, but I think, yes, it will be different.
Yeah.
I think definitely the out-of-home environment will continue to grow. You know,
for those who are not familiar with out of home, what do you actually mean by out of home? It's
so that's your electronic parcel lockers.
Yep.
It's pickup points. It's kiosks where you physically go and collect the parcel close to your home or your place of work, as opposed to waiting at home for a delivery.
And do you see a lot of preference in that? People really wanting that kind of service versus having a delivery to home?
Yes, we definitely are seeing that, particularly in homes where perhaps the husband and the wife work, so there's no one at home to receive the parcel. Then it actually just makes it more convenient to collect near the gym on the way after work or at the service station, etc.
It's giving choice. It's choice to customer. Yeah. I'd love to come back to the small business component. You know, you say you're working with a lot of these small businesses. What else do you think we can or should be doing to help grow small business in the country, and ways of supporting them, especially in the sort of e-commerce side of things?
I think certainly from a technology point of view, we can support them. So, you know, that's integrating systems, making data flow. But I think also quite importantly is having an offer on the table for them where it becomes more cost effective. So, you know, for a startup, it's tough. They haven't got huge capital to put out there. So if we look at the locker network or the pickup network, it's a lot more cost effective. Yeah. And I think as a startup, using those channels can certainly benefit them in terms of keeping the cost down, but then also supporting them from a tech point of view. You know, we support a lot of these small businesses that start up, get them going, get them off the ground, get their plugins working. Yeah. And it's so exciting to see them get up and going. Yeah.
And see the growth. And I think what some of the feedback that we get is, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to focus on the great products that you're making. You know, hey, I've created this great brand, this cosmetic product or whatever it is. Let me focus on that and making great products. And then it's amazing if, you know, as within Amazon, we take over a lot of the logistics piece of it. So the picking, packing, taking payment, all that. So when you get an order, we can get it to you that same day, instead of that entrepreneur having to go and pack a box, find a box, put tape and all those kind of things. We can take that off their hands with things like our Fulfilled by Amazon FBA.
Yes.
So we get a lot of good feedback on that type of thing. Yeah, so building some of these small businesses, you know, entrepreneurs, building on this entrepreneurial, you know, do you guys, I mean, how do you see that in the country, and are there specific things that you're doing to help grow? I mean, you mentioned that you do some of that tech work with these customers who come to you, but are there other ways that you're building small business or, you know, helping to develop young entrepreneurs?
Yes, Robin. I mean, a lot of those parcels delivered to your customers are through our subcontractor network, which essentially are small businesses that have grown and evolved with us over the years. Yeah. Where at the moment we've got just shy of 2,000 of these vans running around the country, and they're owned by approximately 700 small businesses that work for us on a subcontractor or owner-driver basis. And these businesses have grown, as I say, and they've gone from 1 route to 2 routes to 3 routes to 5 routes over the years. So they're real little SMEs operating within our business.
Fantastic. And I mean, it's you can see that pride within the, as they've deliver and all that, taking pride in their route and, as you say, getting to know the houses and the customers and all that along the network.
Yeah, and they've got a vested interest in their performance and in their business. So it really does work.
So, hey, Craig, I know, you mentioned that being a small business is really, really, really tough. And, we've built some programs around, just helping some of these sellers, whether it's through account management. We opened the Seller Success Center down here, a first outside of, a first for South Africa, really. But I know we're working on a few programs together to help support some of these sellers. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Amazon has now, if I can say, funding the startup of small businesses in terms of getting their products to your DCs or your fulfillment centers, which really enables them and gives them that kickstart to get their business going. So certainly we support that with Amazon, and it's a great initiative to give them that financial sort of foot up and get them going.
Yeah, because I think, with Fulfilled by Amazon, as an entrepreneur, if you don't have to focus on the logistics, you can put your product into the fulfillment centers. And we see big uplift in, when a product is fulfilled out of our fulfillment centers, it's fast, same day, next day. And that's a big advantage for a seller in getting the sale. And so, it's great that we have those mechanisms where we can help them get their product into the FC at low cost or no cost, and then, continue to start to see that kickstarting of the growth. And we're starting to see a lot of sellers see that value, starting to see their sales grow very rapidly once they put the product into the fulfillment centers.
No, I mean,
so thanks for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's super exciting. And I think it's a fantastic initiative.
Yeah, thank you.
So Rob, I've just shared with you some insights in terms of my career. I mean, what inspired you? What did people tell you in terms of you being able to move up to where you are in your career?
Hey, Craig, I'm supposed to be asking you the questions, but I'll take it. Look, I think the young people that I've mentored and that I've seen grow very rapidly in their careers are the ones who have this learning mentality, this real learning mindset, and where they're so hungry to understand what's going on. Hey, why does this work this way? Why does it work that way? And sort of continuing to unpack, and never satisfied with that knowledge, with what they know about it. So really wanting to dive deeply into the topic. And I think it's paired with also taking some of the feedback. You mentioned people and the importance of surrounding yourself with good people. I think that's important as long as you're listening to and taking the guidance. You don't have to take everything, but I think just being open and wanting to learn and making adjustments and continually changing. So I think it really comes down for me, if there's one piece of advice to a young South African early career, it's that learning mindset. Get into a company with the objective of learning, not putting new titles on the scoreboard. Every day should be a learning day.
Yeah, good. I like that.
I feel you have a lot of optimism about South Africa and about the future prospects. Tell me more about that, and what do you feel about South Africa as a whole and where we're going as a nation?
I think our growth, particularly in the e-retail or the e-commerce side of the things, is really strong. Mm-hmm. If we look at the historical growth and where we are, I think there's still massive growth coming. I think, or I believe certainly, that Amazon coming into the market has added a bit of spice. So we're seeing a lot of growth because people have so much more choice now in terms of buying. It's no longer one provider. So there's a couple of big guys. There's a whole lot of SMEs which they can buy from. So I'm very optimistic about the growth there. And with no doubt, I think we've still got a good few years of double-digit growth in that environment. I think we're a great community in South Africa. And again, being the people's courier, we support a lot of those small communities. We support the people of South Africa. So, yeah.
I think it's super exciting. I think just the again, I love seeing these entrepreneurs and their businesses growing, and I think it's good for South Africa, good for our shoppers, good for the country, and, it can only benefit the average consumer, in the value that they get.
Absolutely.
So it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, thanks so much, man. It's
Thank you very
great
much.
to have you with us, and thanks for your insights, and it was great to learn more about the Courier Guy.
Thanks, Robert. It's been a great morning. Thank you.